Anticipated problem of establishing a quorum. We are one short at the moment, but we'll get on with the introductory stuff and take it from there. So, first off, Paul, can I lean upon you to open us up?
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
Mi no tātou. E tātua, o mai kia mātou tō maramatanga, tō rangimārie, tō kaha me tō aroha, e tēnei wā. Āmeni.
Āmeni.
Right, so I'll take apologies now. I have Michelle McElroy. Do we have any other apologies come in?
Chair Haniwai Ormsby at Atangi today.
Thank you. Councillor Brown.
Deputy Mayor Brosnan and Councillor Juliet Gregg.
Thank you. And we understand Dr. Roger Marker has retired. We found that out at lunchtime today, Leanne.
Yes, and Mare Apatu has a Tangi today as well, so he's an apology. So those are the apologies that we've received.
Okay, so could I have a mover and a seconder for the apologies, please?
I'll be able to move those.
Aye. Hayley, thank you very much. All those in favour?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you. Right, so housekeeping. So this meeting is being live streamed as usual on a council's Facebook page, recorded for you viewing at a later date on our YouTube channel. And an earthquake, drop, cover and hold. Long and strong, get gone. When the shaking subsides, leave the building. And we go up to Tiffin Park along Dalton Street and up the steps to Cameron Road. If an emergency alarm sounds, as it often does when I'm cheering, immediately evacuate the building through the nearest exit and go to the assembly area, which is on the grass on the corner of Dalton and Vautier. Emergency signs are clearly posters behind you and to the sides. Wharepaku toilets behind you. Do we have... no members of the public today. Right, so we all know the drill. Welcome to those online. Welcome Alex and Tim, thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for joining us in a climate-friendly way today online, especially from CHB. Thank you. Right, okay, so we're still, did you have any, you were going to try and get the alternate from Wara or not?
I've followed up and have it to Novale at this stage, but
right, okay.
Perhaps they will join us in due course, which would be good.
Right, well,
Anybody else is waiting for it to come in? Okay. Well, I think
right.
it's up to you, but I would declare it. So.
Yep, okay. So I'll just see whether there's anything else we can do. No, well, we're getting on to, we've got confirmation of minutes, and that's a decision in itself. So anyway, so look, we haven't been able to establish a quorum, and so this meeting cannot be legally established, and we can't make any decisions or resolutions today unless something changes really, really fast. Nonetheless, because of the importance of the Hawke's Bay climate change risk assessment that we were to receive today, and can still receive a report from staff, I'd propose that we carry on and receive the presentation, and we can still go on. We can still hold questions if members would like to do so. So if there's no, Councillor Brown.
Thank you. Just through you, Mr Chair, can you just talk us through how that would work if we don't have a resolution, because we can't pass a resolution? How does it work procedurally?
So simply we can hear, for the purposes of public interest, we can hear the presentation. Actually, what I need to do is just take advice from staff that can we have a report that's not in the public domain yet, which is currently embargoed. What is the status? Can we bring that into the public arena, please?
Yes.
Yeah, through you, Chair. Staff advice would be that it is a technical report that has, so the reason that we had it on the agenda today was really for you to receive it, to mark it as a milestone achievement of the committee. Being a technical report, it is suitable for it to be released, and has been embargoed until 2:30 today. So I would recommend that you still follow that process, and it is released.
But we would have to convene again at a later time to formally receive the report and make any recommendations.
Yes, that's correct.
But there's no impediment to releasing the report, receiving and releasing it. Again, I see Mayor Alex shaking her head, so that's an agreement. So I think we're all comfortable with that the report we will go on, receive the staff presentation, the report itself, but there will be no follow-up resolutions.
Yep.
Happy? Okay, so, right, with no further ado, I just want to, actually what we'll do first is we'll confirm the minutes from the 18th of November
No, we
2024.
can't do that.
We can't,
because
we can't
don't
even do
have a
that, can
quorum.
we? No, okay, so we don't need to do that, but, right, so we can move straight on to the core purpose of today's meeting, which is to receive our first regional climate change risk assessment. This is really a milestone achievement for the region and for this committee. We were behind other regions in not having this piece of work. At the direction of this committee back in August last year, staff were tasked with developing a regional climate change risk assessment at pace. They have done so. It has been a massive piece of work for them. The workload on the TAG and in particular on Amberley has been enormous, very taxing.
Through you, Chair, kia ora. I feel this is a joint committee with all councils. So, and without a quorum, I don't believe that we can receive this report. I feel quite uncomfortable about that without everybody being here, particularly 2 representatives of Napier, 2 representatives of Wairoa. I just don't think that we're in a position to be able to receive the report today.
So,
I don't think, yeah.
thank you, Mayor Sandra.
Yeah, we are. We can invite him from there and see if that helps.
Yeah.
So,
Do you want to adjourn for
We will,
5 minutes?
yeah, let's just adjourn
Yeah,
for
I
5
think
minutes.
so.
Looks like we
Thank you.
we might have one, but I
Yeah,
appreciate
thank
the
you.
sentiment.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Kia ora noa, welcome back. Kia ora, welcome Caudry, thank you for helping us out, making up our quorum, and also congratulations on your recent appointment, your kaumātua appointment to Ngāti Kahungunu. Well done.
Kia ora. Ngā mihi.
Very well
Ngā mihi kia koe takatoa.
Right, okay. So, well, actually, what we'll do is we'll back up the truck slightly and we will go back to confirming the minutes. So, do we have any concerns with the minutes from the 18th of November meeting? If not, I'll look for a proposer and a seconder that we accept those minutes. Proposer Sandra, thank you. Hayley, Mayor Hazelhurst, Councillor Brown, all those in favour, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you. Right, so we can move along to the core of today's business. So, as I was saying before, a key purpose of today's meeting is to receive, and we can now receive, and not just hear, the region's first climate change risk assessment. This was commissioned by the committee in August last year, and the committee instructed staff to, or requested, I should say, staff to work at pace to develop this body of work. It's been a huge undertaking that we should not underestimate the amount of work that's involved, not only the TAG members, but many members of all of the partner councils who were involved and consulted along the way. Special thanks, though, to Amberley, who has project managed this at tremendous pressure and sacrifice, so thank you. Also, thank you to everyone who has taken the care, members of this committee and other staff and advisors taken tremendous care to ensure that we are in safe ground and releasing this report. It is sensitive to a community that is still traumatised and scarred from the events of February 2023, the cyclones. So the conundrum, the tension is that on the one hand we have a deeply affected community, but on the other hand a community who deeply understands the issues, the impacts of climate change, because they have lived the effects of it. And so that's the tension that we walk, but that's the tension that this community now lives every day. So this is a milestone achievement. We were a long way behind some other regions, many other regions, in not having this kind of assessment. We have it now, and that puts the region in a much stronger position to build a base of around regional spatial planning and individual council work on their own business and on supporting the community. This is a report for everyone. It's a report for constituent councils, and it is the building block for all of the future planning work that we do. It would not have been possible without the joint funding of this committee and the work around this joint committee. So, and in particular, as I mentioned already, the collaborative efforts of the staff, the TAG staff and everyone, and other staff and councils that have made it possible. So the key outcome is information to make better decisions. The community making better decisions, councils making better decisions, taking climate change into account. So with that, I'd like to invite staff to make a short presentation. Look, members are very familiar with this report and the context of it, but this really for the benefit of those online, the public, just a bit of scene-setting contextualisation. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, and kia ora koutou, ko Amberley Gibson toku ingoa. On behalf of the Technical Advisory Group, as the TAG convener, I'm just here to talk briefly to the staff report. At the conclusion of a significant piece of work, it's always good to look back at the journey of how we got here. As Chair Harding has just talked about, back in August, the Joint Committee requested that the TAG proceed with this work at pace. And then in September, the project commenced, so the TAG contracted independent risk experts, Urban Intelligence, who have presented to this committee before, to undertake the assessment and produce a technical report, and the data collation process began. In November, staff from the 5 councils, CEDAM and Lifelines attended workshops with Urban Intelligence, and the Joint Committee you received an update on assessment progress, key themes coming through that work, and supported the communications approach for the report's release. In March, as a joint committee, we had a briefing by Urban Intelligence and fine-tuning the report communications approach. And today, in May, the technical report is finalised for release and is formally received by you as the joint committee who commissioned this work. While Urban Intelligence can't be here today, staff would like to thank them for their considerable efforts and expertise, including their willingness to move at pace to produce this piece of work. So the report, as you know, brings together available data and information appropriate for this type of assessment with expert analysis and judgment to give us a snapshot in time of what climate change will likely mean for us as a region. It contains a wealth of information. It also identifies key findings. An overarching key finding of this work is around the availability and variability of hazard data across our region. The report identifies several opportunities for us as a region to enhance our evidence base with improved hazard and other climate data. It also identifies regional findings, so a very broad range of risks identified across 6 value domains, being the natural environment, human, economy, built environment, governance, and iwi Māori. And these risks include direct risks, indirect risks, and cascading risks from both slow onset climatic changes and severe weather events. It also includes district level findings. So it's, at the district level, it's a first pass assessment based on available information to assess risks at that level. And the assessment and findings have focused on physical infrastructure exposure, cascading impacts on communities, and economic impacts. While the report doesn't contain recommendations for this joint committee or individual councils, it does helpfully set out opportunities for further work to build on this initial climate change risk assessment. These are enhancing our regional evidence base, supporting infrastructure resilience, enabling Māori-led adaptation, integrating climate risk considerations, and empowering locally led action, and that's just a summary. There is more detailed findings in the report itself. As the convener of the TAG, I want to also thank staff from across the 5 councils and CEDAM who contributed to this work, but in particular the other members of the technical advisory group who have been involved from the start of this project, Dylan, Michelle, Graham, and Hini Takoha. And with that, I'll hand back to you, Chair.
Kia ora, Amberley, and kia ora to the rest of the TAG. We would not be here without you. So, open to questions. Any questions of staff?
Thank you, through you, Chair. Could I just ask the staff what feedback has been received from the committee since our last meeting? What changes have been made? Have you got it? Can you give us a bit of an outline of what feedback you received from the committee, please?
Sure. I don't have a change sheet in front of me, but the changes that were raised at the workshop were then fed to Urban Intelligence. So they were taken, each TAG member was responsible for collecting their each from their councils, the feedback from their governors. That was centralised and then provided to Urban Intelligence, who have made changes. Are you able to?
Yeah, I think that the main tweaks, and obviously noting that Urban Intelligence as the technical experts, that they were really interested in that feedback and very accommodating too. And I think the key things were around ensuring both accuracy about our details at place and also around just language, being really conscious around language. So particularly around data, the data that we do have. So some of the data, I think, and it's a key point around this work, is that we have a lot of data, and some of it is suitable for this type of assessment. And it doesn't mean to say that this is all the data. It's for this first pass assessment, this is the type of data that we have. So there were some clarifications made in the report, just for some transparency as well around what data was provided and for this inputted for this first assessment and where it came from too.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amber. Look, and I think whilst it's the first item on that list of next steps and opportunity, I do want to come back to the question of data, because I would think that this committee could give useful direction to future work around the data. Yeah, we will. If people have questions about that now, happy to take them. But I think when it comes to recommendations, there's some useful work we could do around there, and leaving some direction from this committee. So if there are no further questions, look, I'm happy to take a mover and a seconder for this, for recommendations. And what I propose to do is break the recommendations into two pieces. The first three are procedural, so that's to receive and consider the report, to receive the independent Hawke's Bay Climate Change Risk Assessment technical report produced by Urban Intelligence, recognise and acknowledge the collaborative efforts to deliver a public-facing assessment that forms the first shared evidence base of the climate risk for the region. So, yeah, so we're going to deal with those first three because those are very procedural. I do want to spend a little bit of time just on the more directional things, including the question of data. So if
Happy to move, Chair.
Yep, thank you, Mayor Hazelhurst. To have a seconder? Oh, Councillor Brown, I think it was you just pipped Councillor Rowley at the post there. So, speakers. Would anyone like to speak to the motion? Yeah, Councillor Brown.
Do you want to go as a mover?
Well, you can go first.
Well, I suppose as we've just heard, it was just last August that we asked our team to move at pace to deliver this critical piece of work. And just really want to reiterate and re-acknowledge that this is the result of 9 months of hard work and really good regional collaboration. If it wasn't for this committee convening and the TAG working so closely together, we would be like other regions in the country and still looking to achieve what we've done in just 9 months. This report is more than just an analysis. It's a blueprint for our action. You can't build a house without a blueprint, and you can't build You can't build resilience without understanding your risk. Now, for the first time, we've got that shared picture across our region. But this is more than just about our councils and what we need to do. It's about our whole community. This is about empowering our community to drive climate action at the speed and the scale that we need it. We have to move forward together. This report isn't for the shelf, it's for action. It's for integrating climate risk into everything that we do, from the roads we build at council and the homes we protect, to helping business owners in Napier understand flood risks and supporting whānau in Wairoa as they prepare for rising river levels. It's for everyone planning for the future of their community, their business and their family. And I know that some people will say that producing this report isn't action in itself, but you can't adapt to what you don't understand. This is our starting point. It's the best information we've ever had to shape our future. And if we're smart, we can turn these risks into strengths and set the stage for a more resilient and innovative Hawke's Bay.
Kia ora, Hayley. Fantastic words. Look, and I just want to observe that this question about action, climate action. Now, climate action, in my view, has a very particular meaning in the climate change sense. It's about taking control. It's about responding. It's about being both adaptive and addressing mitigations. But it's about being proactive. Now, in the local government context, what we do primarily is we plan. And so that's the foundation of what we do. So the fact that we're not running discrete projects to, substitute fossil fuels for sustainable fuels should not be a criticism of this committee. This committee's work, first and foremost, must be at home, which is around the planning framework. And this report makes a great contribution to that. Are there any other speakers? Mayor Hazelhurst?
Thank you. Thank you, Chair, and Councillor Brown, for your words. Firstly, I wish to recognise our community still impacted by Cyclone Gabrielle and the implications of a risk assessment for them in terms of them, going back to the day of the event. I think this report is a very, very helpful step in continuing to build our region's understanding of climate risk. And when we set up this committee right at the beginning of the triennium, just around the time of Cyclone Gabrielle, we identified that this is a practical step to managing risk associated with climate change. We're now very focused on looking ahead. What does our future look like and what form does it take for our region as we navigate climate change? The data which has informed this report is already informing councils at a strategic level how we plan for the future. And today we released the Future Development Strategy, where people will live safely. For us in Heretaunga Hastings, our Planning and Bylaws Committee will receive this report because it has to be used as an important document. Our ratepayers have paid for it, and we will be using that as a tool to make sure that we understand where people should be living in the future and how it impacts our district plan and how we can mitigate the consequences of climate change. At a national level, it is very clear to us as councils we're expected to seek increasingly fit-for-purpose data. And this is a combination of data and intelligence and local decision-making under the National Adaptation Plan framework, which will continue to develop over the time. We should remain open-minded about how we use and work together in the future. It is critically important as a region. We know that we all need to work together to ensure that we have all of the data that we need to analyse and inform decision-making. For us, going forward, we need to return to the why. What is behind this mahi? Keeping people safe and ensure that all our work and all our decision-making is connected to that core purpose. Kia ora.
Do I have any other speakers on the wall there? Mayor Walker.
Kia ora koutou katoa. I actually just want to mahi to those that have already spoken. You've taken all the appropriate words to support this. Central Looks Bay is really proud to have been part of this work. It is pivotal to how we are moving forward in our community, but pivotal to how we move forward stronger together as a region. And thank everyone for the work that is put to here. When I reflect on what we've achieved as a committee, to think we have an emissions map of what the region looks like, we now add to that the risk assessment, which means we do have the two cornerstone pieces of work to allow us to have both a mitigation framework and an adaptation framework for the region. So we have two crucial building blocks now for how we take the next steps. And so very happy to see this report released and to see it circulated, not just to councils. I will reflect in the coming recommendations some of the other places that I think we should be sharing and communicating and building on this piece of work. So kia ora Amberley and your team, thank you, and proud to be part of having built this report for the region and the future of the region. Ngā mihi.
Kia ora. If there are no other speakers, Councillor Roadley.
Got bumped from before, so I better have a go. Kia ora. Thank you so much, Amberley, and the rest of the TAG for producing this, or getting this through and getting it in front of us in such a quick time. It strikes me as it is a huge piece of work. And when you look at the importance of data, the importance of what happens from that data, as the speakers before me have also noted, without the data, we cannot make good, informed decisions. But what I wanted to pick up on is actually recommendation 3, which around the collaborative effort. One of our deeply held beliefs is around nobody being left behind, and it is quite noticeable in the report the level of data that sits in the larger councils and the lack of it in the smaller councils. And so to me, this piece of work is a key piece around equity, around bringing all our region, all our communities to enjoy the same benefits of having that data that's specific to their place, specific to the decisions that their councils and decision makers are making, so that they are well informed, that they are forward thinking, that they are bringing that through. And I wanted to quote the Minister for Climate Change, Minister Watts, who's been quoted as saying, one of the key parts of this government's adaptation framework is around climate data, establishing a shared understanding of the climate risk with communities. And that's really important to us as we lead our communities in this space. So thank you for that collaborative work. It is incredibly difficult to work collaboratively across a wide area. So thank you for your efforts, and hopefully the herding cats can bring all together, and you've done us proud, so thank you.
All right, Councillor Oatley, I just observed that one of the findings, if you like, one of the discoveries certainly for myself, and I think for other councillors, other members of this committee along the way, is that actually there's joint responsibility for hazard data, climate data. It's not the responsibility simply of the regional council or simply of a TLA in a district. It is a joint responsibility, and for that only reinforces. And it's great, Councillor Roadley, that you've given us that kōrero from the Climate Minister. To me, it reinforces that data is a natural starting point for further work. We have some staff direction in the paper around that as well. So that is something that we should give some focus to when it comes to recommendations. But to understand how we work collaboratively with that, because it is a joint responsibility. But that needs rules, it needs understanding around that to make that work effectively. We've managed to make it work through this piece of work, but we can't leave it to chance in future. Thank you. So look, with that, unless there are any other speakers, we'll move to a vote. So all those in favour of recommendations 1 to 3, say aye, please.
Aye.
Against? Carry, we've got some 3 hands on the wall, thank you. Right, that's passed, thank you. So that's our business, if you like, to receive the report in those terms. Now we turn our minds to the direction, the suggestion that we'd like this committee to give to external parties. And Mayor Alex, you've alluded to some ideas that go beyond just the walls of the administrating authorities. Now, would you like to develop those thoughts now? Or would you like to see some direction for this committee beyond what's already been tabled?
Yeah, I would like to see in the recommendations that we actually add communication to not just the councils, but actually our other partners in this work, to our PSGEs. But there's 2 particular bodies which I think would be helpful if we spoke directly to, and that is the Regional Planning Committee and also the Hawke's Bay Civil Defence Emergency Management Group. Now, I know that these tables and these units for the region are connected to our councils, but actually have the ability to stand on their own 2 feet as well, and they are actually key to what any further actions are to go forward. So I would like to see that we actually commit to communicating and sharing formally from this committee to those bodies as well. I think we can note that there's further work to be done around who owns this data across the complexity of the region and how we start to fill those gaps, but we will be looking for their support in how we do that. So adding in point 4 to the 5 partner councils, our regional PSGEs, and our regional civil defence group and regional planning committees would be a good start for me, but happy to see any further evolution of that.
Kia ora, Mayor Walker. Look, and it's been suggested in my ear that actually adding the relevant government, central government partner agencies as well would be a sensible move. Okay. Leanne, are you able to wordsmith some of this on screen? Because I think we're going to have a couple of other additions to that as well. Okay, so we'll get that up on screen in a moment. Councillor Brown, you got your hand up.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair. Just thinking along those lines, the other, like the lifelines groups and everything that contributed to part of this work, will they naturally get an update on it, or how does that bit work?
I think it would add to it. I mean, there's an assumption in there that, I mean, they should be specifically named, I believe, even though there should be a tight connection with Hawke's Bay CDM into Lifelines, but I think by themselves they will have their own grouping, so we could address them too. Thank you. We'll add Lifelines. Thanks.
Sorry, just to interrupt again on that. I think the beauty of us as the committee deliberately sharing, though, is that it puts it at the governance tables where our decisions can be made, rather than just relying on the connections. I think the manner of this work, it needs to go directly to those leadership tables. So us deliberately making those connections, I think, is lends the strength of what we need to do.
Kia ora. Yep, fully agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so work on that. Okay, what I'd like to propose is something around the data then. So it strikes me that we have a lot of power left and a little bit of gas in the tank for the tag, and the opportunity really is to try and harness the tag to follow up on the understanding that has been developed by themselves, the contributing council staff and also urban intelligence around the data gaps. So, and to me, this is a request back to the tag as a part. Well, we could put it to partner councils, but it seems to me that it makes more sense to request back to the tag to use their remaining capacity, their work capacity in this triennium to analyse and report back to this committee on the opportunities for the types of data and methods and ways of working on data gaps. So, and I should provide some words for that. So that would be to request that the TAG report back to the Joint Committee on Options to progress region-wide climate data investment strategy / roadmap, considering the roles and responsibility of CDM and Council. So that's acknowledging that there is other hazards work which sits in parallel with that. So I'll hand that one over there. So I think that's a standalone. That's not recommending to our partner councils. That's requesting action of the tag. So if we make that a 0.5, a number 5, yep, and we'll come back to 4. So the other, the gap, as I said, and members may think of other gaps as well, but it's around resourcing. And as we know through today's paper that's been presented by staff, is that climate risk assessments are something that they're a point in time, and they've been normally done at least every 6 years. My personal view is that given the data deficiencies we know we have that 6 years is too long. We do need to be informed first by the piece of work to understand and prioritise the data gaps and ways of working to get those. But to me, it feels like 3 years rather than 6 years. But the suggestion is to give some direction to partner councils around the need to provision for that data. Now, we don't know what that looks like at the moment, but the obvious place is the 2027 LTP, if not earlier. So yeah, I'm looking for views on that. We could ask the partner councils to consider making provision for climate data assemblage in their respective LTPs.
Yep, that's good.
I think that's a good idea.
Good idea.
Right, so happily, I have some wording, which I will read here. So, so this would be a 4.4, I think we're up to, or was it 4.5? We'll see on the
The
screen
numbering
anyway.
is going to be different, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be 4 point something. Commit to providing staff resource and funding for ongoing collaboration on climate action, including allocating budget in the next LTP to enable a future iteration of the regional climate risk assessment to be undertaken during this period, 2027 to 2037. We'll get that up on screen in a minute. Councillor Brown, just nodding in agreement. Excellent.
Through you, Chair, I may support the direction. I think that it's going to be really important that all of our councils understand the importance of what the suggestion recommendation is. You know, we need everybody to be understanding this is a regional approach, and this risk assessment work needs to be considered as a region. None of us work in isolation. So I think that, you know, that recommendation and direction for 2027 LTP is a good one from the committee. But, you know, there needs to be, I would suggest that there could be an addition to the recommendation that we ask the TAG to bring back suggestions to the governors in the new triennium to consider the best way to have a regional collaboration for this work. Given that, you know, we need everybody in here, and so I think that, you know, if we could just add something like that, so whether it's a joint committee or whether it's another model or another way of looking at this, that we task our chief executives to consider this in the new triennium, because, you know, it doesn't necessarily need to be the format that we've had in the last 3 years. We're in a good place now, but what is next steps? What does next look like?
Thank you, Mayor Hazelhurst. Look, I'm conscious that, and I'm being reminded, but was already conscious that the ways of cooperating for this joint committee and others will be captured in the triennial agreement, in the new triennial agreement. But also conscious, and my own personal view is that we capture what learnings we can now and capture the thoughts. So my thought would be, as part of that data consideration, that we can extend that, and I'm just check that I'm not creating disturbances with my chief executive, but we extend it to any suggestions that the TAG can offer for, you know, a choice of ways of working that could, you know, continue the work at a staff level and facilitate the data.
That'd be, yes, I think that'd be very helpful, yeah.
Thank you. Councillor Rodley.
Chair, I just want to endorse what Mayor Hazelhurst has just, her kōrero. I think the beauty and the strength, the might of a joint collaborative program of work is not just that councils are doing data, gathering data, using data. The might is when we bring it together and we all benefit from that data. We reduce the chance of duplication and waste of effort. We also being able to see what other data is out there helps us inform our own decisions. So bringing it together is critically important rather than working within data sets sitting within its specific places it's found. So, yeah, fantastic recommendation. Thank you, Mayor Hayward-West.
Right, well, we just need to insert a few more words then. You're going to get that up on the screen now.
And then we can, hopefully we can wordsmith this as we go. And is it sharing?
It is on that one.
It is on that one. Do it again?
Right, okay, so I have, oh, there we go.
Can you see that now online? Alex? Cool,
can see
all
that.
right. So starting with number 4, and forgive me, I've put in a few extra words.
Okay. Shares the key findings and opportunities for further work set out in the Hawke's Bay Climate Change Risk Assessment Technical Report with the 5 partner councils, our regional PSGs, HPCDM Group Joint Committee, HP Lifelines organisations, Regional Planning Committee and central government partners.
Yes, very
Okay,
good.
that's pretty good.
Does that,
It's good.
Yep.
okay?
Okay. Requests that the TAG report back to the CAGC on options to progress region-wide climate data investment strategy roadmap. And I'm going to suggest and a regional collaboration, a regional climate change collaboration models. So after roadmap,
Can we put in there?
and
Which one was the roadmap?
And-
We continue.
and regional climate change collaboration. Models. Do, for want of a better word.
Are we talking about governance models or?
Okay, governance models, yep. Nice. Comma considering. There we go. Okay.
I can just take that note. Is that,
Okay. Yes.
can you see that, or do I need to make it bigger?
No, I can see it.
Anna? Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
That's on Peter Henry.
thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wonder if somehow we can add to it that we're doing this, like the why we're doing this, and it's to continue progressive action and resilience, somehow capturing what we're doing, what we have done, and this is why this is so important.
In order to continue,
Progressive action and resilience, or something like that, that captures, I don't know how to.
Could I just have a suggestion that it's possibly, rather than directing the TAG to do that, that might be more powerful to direct it back to the partner councils?
Can it have its own bullet point?
It's a dangerously.
It's a little bit, a little bit more gunpowder in what we're doing, why we're doing it, what we've done, and this is,
Right, okay. So
Thank
we'll get through, we'll come back to that in a sec. Hang on.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to make
we're
we're going to have
gonna start it.
a separate
Okay, so then
bullet point for that
what
one.
I was
Yeah.
thinking was that,
Yep.
we kind of started with saying what we were gonna do with the 5 partner councils without actually saying what we were doing, like, recommends to the 5 partner councils, and then we can go into those 6 points. Or you're being, commit to providing the staff resource.
Yep.
The other one was still there.
Yeah, no, that structure seems
Is
to
that
work.
all
So,
right?
yeah, no, that's work. We can only recommend, we can't instruct. So, yes.
Note the publication, consider finding the opportunity, and this is where I thought, Hannah, could it go in here in order to,
Oh, I think she wanted her own bullet point.
Oh, yeah, give it a little bit more gunpowder.
Yeah, okay,
Please.
let's do that.
So it could start, like,
each council's commitment to regional.
Just read through those. Consider, can we go back to 6.1? Just note the publication. That's nice and clear. 6.2, consider the findings and opportunities of further work outlined in the report, including how to integrate climate risk information into decision-making at all levels. That's good. 6.3, commit to providing staff resource and funding for ongoing collaboration on climate action, including allocating budget in next long-term plan to enable a future iteration of the assessment to be undertaken during that period, during 2027 to 2037. Yep, that
So
is
we're thinking we'll have a
clear.
6.4,
6.4, yep. And
commit
Councillor Montpellier Hendry. Let's
to,
commit to.
Yeah, so each council is committed to the regional collaboration on climate action together to continue progressive action and resilience.
together to, sorry,
Continue progressive action and resilience. To what, yeah, how do I
that
get
make
that?
sense?
Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
and building and
Building, yeah.
resilience building, resilience
Thank you.
building or something like that.
Continue progressing
building.
action to build resilience.
To build
To build
resilience.
resilience.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
to continue building, progressing action, yeah.
Oh.
Sorry,
Yes.
yeah, progressing action to build resilience, I think might be.
Action together to.
Progressing, continue progressing, so make it progressing.
action.
Action.
Action to build resilience.
Resilience.
Yes.
Usually at that stage, your fingers stop moving.
Beautiful.
Everybody's watching.
No pressure. Thank you.
So should,
Good work.
do you want me to go
yeah,
through
Hazel,
it
it's
again?
Through you, Chair, I think,
Hang on.
I think the recommendation number 5, if we could just go back to that. I think it needs to have emergency councils by the end of this triennium. So putting a time frame on it.
Right, yep.
Yes.
Or at the next meeting. We've got a meeting.
Well, by the end of the triennium, I think is fair.
Yeah, sufficient. We'll aim to have one more meeting,
We'll
I
say,
think.
why don't we say by 30 September?
Okay, yes.
Yep. Beautiful.
Yeah, nice.
All right. Okay, so
Right, so
chairs,
we've-
requests, recommends, now we just need movers and seconders.
okay, so we're going to attempt to pass recommendations 4 through 6 now. And we've read through all of those. Is everyone comfortable? No, everyone's clear what we're doing? Yeah.
There is one thing I want to mention. I find that with the retirement of Dr. Roger, and I believe the retirement or withdrawal of Wairoa District Council, and I got to question the reason for me being here. And when I look at it, I think, well, I'm here on behalf of the Māori Standing Committee of this Hawke's Bay Regional Council. So my focus becomes on Te Iwi Māori and all the communities that were affected by the flood and the Action Committee findings, and in particular to the Patani and Tongoia people, Ruataniwha in Wairoa, Takitimu, they're still affected by the floods, and Hinemihi. So those are real problems and should be mentioned at this time. I do believe that for as far as climate change is concerned, if we invoke a process of continuous improvement, so we're looking at it all the time, particularly with the Wairoa bar that's moving all the time and it's changing all the time. So it's not going to be the same tomorrow. So continuous improvement would be ideal for that particular situation. And I'm sure that there are a number of others that would suit that focus. That's basically all I want to say, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Can we weave that in to, let's see where is.
Yeah.
Well, we can, I mean, yeah, I think it would be stronger to have that as one of the directions to the partner councils rather than direction to TAG. So let's go, So we could have that as a separate dot point at 6. So recommend commit to a process of continuous improvement in considering and addressing the climate change impacts on tangata whenua. Is that sufficient?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or could it say
Communities.
vulnerable communities?
Vulnerable to communities, including tangata whenua. Tangata whenua and vulnerable
Isolated.
communities.
And of course, those communities are already part of the Hastings District Council and Napier District Council and Warren District Council. So they're taken care of, but I just want to use this voice, this position I'm sitting here with,
Yes,
to highlight it.
it's a good idea.
So commit to processes of continuous improvement to address the impacts of climate change on vulnerable communities, including tangata whenua. So
Including, or would it be better to say particularly? Thank you.
Thank you.
we happy with that? Right, okay, so
Very nice.
We're
going to go for the omnibus now and go 4 through 6. Do I have a mover for all of those?
Oh, I'm happy to move.
Yeah, Hazelhurst, and a seconder. Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Mayor Hazelhurst, would you like to speak to that?
Through you, Chair, I think I covered my actions off and my points in the first corridor, so I'm comfortable with the direction now. And I'm very pleased with some of the additional recommendations and capturing the joint committee's way forward and next steps. Thank you.
Kia ora. Mr. Kelly, would you like to speak?
I've said all I want to say. Thank you.
Fantastic. Any other speakers on the wall? Mayor Walker?
Kia ora. Support the direction of these recommendations, and I just want to highlight that the importance of everybody coming to the table is really important, because we've just had a conversation about communities that are affected and about locations of mana whenua that have been affected, and our whānau from Waipawa and Porongahau were not part of the conversation up there in Napier, so it's my job to bring them into that conversation, and why us working together is so important, bringing all the perspectives together. Thank you so much for the direction, and a mahi to all of those that have done this work, and to all of those communities that we've mentioned. Kia ora.
Kia ora. Caudry. You're on mute, Caudry.
Kia ora koutou. Just a question. I'm sitting here because of the PSG Tamati Pōkai Whenua. Who are the other members that have been considered in this space from the Tātou and Wairoa, the Pahawera PSG in Mohaka, and the Maunga Hararu PSG in the Tāngoio area, the Mana Ahuriri PSG? Who's sitting in that space?
Kia ora,
Or
Caudry. So what I'd say is that not all PSGs have taken up the opportunity to have a member. They're all welcome to do so, and I believe understood their rights. But perhaps staff can give us a list of who's currently representing.
Kia
you,
ora.
Desi.
Thank you. Kia ora, Caudry. So that's right. When we set up the joint committee, there was clear direction at that point from the members to invite all PSGEs, and they were all invited, and we have standing members from yourself, from Tamatea Pōkai Whenua, Tanya Eden from Mana Ahuriri Trust, Robbie Paul from Mangahururu Tangatu, and Michelle McElroy from Tātou o Te Wairoa, and the other 4 positions, those bodies did not appoint someone at this time. We have had Teresa from Ngāti Pahawera, was at the last workshop, but yeah, there's 3 or 4 that are vacant, but have all
Kia ora.
been invited.
Kia ora, because I do work with Michelle on, because I also chair the Tātou Kāhui Kaumātua group that gives all advice, who advises the Tātou trustees on kawa tikanga and strategic planning. So I'll have a discussion with Michelle.
Kia ora, much
Kia ora.
appreciated. Thank you. Right, okay, so if there are no other speakers, to the vote. All those in favour of motions 4 through 6, say aye, please. Aye. Those against? Waving on the wall there, thank you. That's unanimously carried. And it just leaves me to thank everybody for the work, all of us, all of you, all of the staff out the back, who have got us to this today. This is, it is a milestone achievement for the region, but it's just another start. So now it's the work is to give power to the report and to our community, to our partner councils and other organisations to go on and ensure that this work actually carries weight in decisions that we make in future. Thank you all. Look, just in closing, Paul, can you lead us
I can.
away, please? Thank you.
Me no e tātou. E te atua, kia ora mō tō maramatanga. Tō rangamari, tō kā me tō ara, e tine wā. Āmeni.
Amen.
Kia ora.